Hi, Mom. I hope you're well. I wanted to let you know that we've decided to keep the wedding small and intimate, just a few close people from both families. Please don't take it the wrong way. It would be best if you watched it via the livestream link below. Love, Emily. No phone call, no explanation. Just a sterile email. As if I were a distant relative or some acquaintance, not the woman who had carried her for 9 months, who had raised her alone when her father left us without a backward glance. I read the email again, then again. The words didn't change, but something inside me did. A sharp, invisible thread pulled tight across my chest, squeezing the air out of me. It was like she'd reached into my heart and slowly twisted her fist. I closed my laptop gently, as if shutting it softly would make it hurt less. Raising Emily hadn't been easy. There were days when I skipped meals so she could have enough. Nights I stayed up sewing her school uniforms by hand, pretending it was just like the ones in stores. I worked 3 jobs at one point, cashier by day, cleaning offices by night, and baking cakes in the early mornings to sell in the neighborhood. I never wanted her to feel poor, to feel left out, and she hadn't. She was smart, kind, beautiful. She grew up with big dreams, and I made sure nothing held her back. I put my own dreams on a dusty shelf so hers could shine. I clapped the loudest at her graduation. I cried the proudest tears when she got her first job. And when she met Jacob, I welcomed him with open arms. He was polite, charming, from a wealthy family. I admit I was intimidated by their lifestyle, the crisp suits, the dinner conversations about hedge funds and holiday homes. But I thought if he loves her, that's all that matters. I never imagined they'd think I wasn't enough. It wasn't just the exclusion that hurt, it was how it was done, clinical, detached, as if I were something to be hidden away. A stain, embarrassing. I had bought a dress, pale lilac with embroidered sleeves, the same color Emily wore in her first dance recital. I even paid to get my hair done at a real salon, not one of those $10 corner places. I was ready to sit quietly at the back, smile, and cry happy tears. Instead, I was told to watch from a screen, like a ghost. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. I sent a text. Did I do something wrong, love? No reply. The next day, I called again, and again, until I finally heard a voice, not Emily's. It was Jacob's mother, Linda. Cold, polished Mrs. Navarro. I think it would be best if you respected their wishes. The guest list is very exclusive. I'm sure you understand. Click. I sat there holding the phone, stunned. Mrs. Navarro, not Elena, not Emily's mom. I suddenly realized they never saw me as family. Just an obligation, and now that the wedding was here, they were trimming the parts they didn't like. The parts that didn't match. I won't lie, I cried for 3 days, cried until my eyes burned and my chest ached. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I just kept reading that damn email. But somewhere around the 4th day, something changed. I stood up, brushed my hair, looked in the mirror. My face was swollen, eyes rimmed red, but beneath it, a flicker of strength. If she didn't want me there, fine. If she was ashamed of me, fine, but she'd forgotten something. I am the woman who raised her on grit and love. The woman who stitched her Halloween costumes and packed lunch with tiny notes. The woman who worked through sickness, storms, and grief, and never once asked for anything back. She had forgotten who I was, but I remembered, so I opened that laptop again. I clicked on the livestream link. I marked the wedding date on my calendar, not as a guest, but as something else entirely. They thought they could erase me quietly. But I knew what to do. The days blurred into each other like wet paint, bleeding on canvas. Every morning I would walk past the dress I bought for Emily's wedding, still hanging in my room, tags untouched. Lilac soft, hopeful, now it just looked naive. I busied myself with work, as if keeping my hands moving could hush the storm inside. But grief, like smoke, always finds the cracks. At night, when the world quieted, it would creep in again. Not just sadness, something heavier. That weight you feel when someone you love looks you in the eye and tells you, without saying a word, you're not enough. I wasn't angry at Emily, not at first. I told myself she was under pressure. Maybe it was just the groom's family being controlling. Maybe she'd apologize after the wedding, call me crying, say she missed me and she didn't know how to fight them. But the silence was loud, too loud to ignore. I began to look more closely, reading between the lines. I went through old texts, recent conversations, and suddenly, little things started to fall into place, puzzle pieces I hadn't noticed before. There was that lunch a few months ago, when Emily came home with Linda, Jacob's mother. I'd cooked all morning, empanadas, arroz con palo, even made flan. Linda took one bite and said, "It's interesting, so ethnic." I'd laughed it off, Emily had too, nervously. But now I remembered the way she hadn't made eye contact with me all lunch, the way she rushed Linda out like she was trying to hide something. There was the time I offered to help with the wedding planning, and Emily gently said, "It's okay, Mom, I think Jacob's family wants to keep it elegant," as if my ideas weren't. And the final clue, the guest list. I saw it accidentally, a screenshot Emily sent me weeks ago when asking about an old family member's name. I zoomed in, I wasn't on it, but Linda's Pilates instructor was. The truth sunk in like a slow poison. They were embarrassed of me. My accent, my small house, my job, my rough hands from decades of work, and maybe, just maybe, my love wasn't glittery enough to make the cut. For a moment I wanted to disappear. Maybe that's what they expected, that I'd vanish quietly into the background, grateful just to be near enough to watch from afar. But then I remembered the hundreds of nights I stayed up while Emily was sick, the handmade birthday parties, the scraped knees I kissed, the dreams I gave up so she could chase hers. I had been everything, and if they couldn't see that, I would show them. Not with anger, not with drama, but with truth, so I made a plan. First, I called Carmen, my childhood friend who now owned a boutique design studio. She owed me a favor. "Carmen, can you help me make a video? Not flashy, just honest." She said yes without question. Then I went up to the attic, opened old boxes, took out photos, baby pictures, school plays, first jobs, scraped knees, homemade Halloween costumes. I even found the drawing Emily made in 3rd grade. A stick figure mom with a crown, holding her hand. My hero. I scanned it all, put them in chronological order. Over each image, I recorded a voiceover. Just me speaking to her, no blame, no guilt, just memories, proof of who I was, who I had always been. It wasn't revenge, not really. It was a mirror. I just wanted her to see. Then I scheduled the video to be delivered at exactly 6:45 p.m., 15 minutes into the reception. When the speeches usually began, when she'd be glowing in her gown, surrounded by the people who decided I wasn't worthy. And I wrote her a letter. "My dearest Emily, you told me not to come, so I won't. I'll do as you asked and watch from afar. But I couldn't let today pass without leaving something behind. I won't interrupt your joy. I won't make a scene. I only want you to remember, not what I gave you, but what we were. Maybe one day you'll miss it, and if that day comes, I'll be here, but not like before. With love always, Mom." I sealed it, placed it inside a small wooden box, along with the drawing from 3rd grade and a necklace I'd saved to give her on her wedding day. A simple silver chain with a heart-shaped locket. Inside was a photo of the two of us, laughing, cheek to cheek. I shipped the box overnight, signature required to the reception venue, to arrive the day of the wedding. To be opened at exactly the right moment. They wanted me gone, invisible, erased. But when the cameras started rolling and the glasses were raised, they would remember I was never just a footnote. I was the first chapter. The morning of the wedding arrived with the kind of blue sky people pray for, cloudless, glowing, hopeful. I brewed my coffee slowly, savoring the ritual. The lilac dress hung in the closet like a ghost. I didn't touch it. Instead, I wore a soft gray blouse and pulled my hair back into a neat bun. No makeup, no theatrics. Just me, the woman Emily didn't want in the photos. The email she sent had instructed me to use a private link to view the ceremony. Password protected. I clicked it, entered the code, and just like that, I was there, not there in the room, of course, but floating above it. A quiet witness through a screen. The venue was extravagant. Roses climbing ivory pillars, string quartet playing something light, inexpensive. Guests in designer gowns, pearls, silk ties, champagne flutes raised lazily like they'd done this 100 times. I searched the faces for someone I knew. There were none. Then I saw her. Emily. My daughter. She looked breathtaking. Her hair in soft curls, her smile wide and practiced. The dress was modern, sleek, nothing like the fairy tale gown she used to circle in magazines as a little girl, but it suited her. Or maybe it suited them. The groom stood tall beside her. Jacob, polished, perfect, grinning like he owned the world. And maybe he did in that moment. They said their vows. I watched quietly as she promised forever. Her voice didn't shake once. She never looked at the camera, never looked for me, but I looked at her, not with bitterness, not with jealousy, but with the quiet ache only a mother knows. The ache of watching your child walk away, and knowing there's no hand reaching back. The reception started shortly after. A new livestream link was posted, cameras now capturing soft laughter, clinking glasses, the clatter of cutlery on fine china. I imagined how they would have seated me if I had been invited. Near the back, probably, somewhere between obligation and shame. I almost closed the laptop, but then, right on cue, 6:45 p.m. came. The camera on the livestream shook slightly as someone stepped on stage with a mic. It wasn't Emily, it wasn't Jacob, it was a staff member, a young man in a black suit clearing his throat. Sorry. We've been asked to play a short video that was delivered to the venue earlier this week, scheduled for this exact time. A pause. A few murmurs. Then the screen behind the couple, meant for slideshows and baby photos, lit up. And there I was. The video opened with a grainy clip of Emily as a baby, sitting in a high chair, smearing mashed bananas across her face. My voice spoke softly over the image. Your first word wasn't mama. It was light. You pointed to the lamp and said it over and over. I thought it was perfect, because that's what you were to me. Light, the images continued, her learning to walk, her in kindergarten, holding my hand, her 5th grade science fair project, the one I stayed up all night helping her finish, her first dance recital, our tiny kitchen birthday parties, her graduation, the tearful hug when she got her first job. I didn't have much to give you, not diamonds, not holidays in Paris, but I gave you everything I had. I gave you nights without sleep, days without rest, and a heart that never stopped hoping you'd be happy. The guests were no longer eating. Silence filled the room. When you told me not to come to your wedding, I thought maybe I'd failed. Maybe I hadn't been good enough. But then I remembered I was there every day, every scraped knee, every heartbreak, every win, every loss. I was there, always. The last image was the drawing, the stick figure with a crown. You once called me your hero, maybe I'm not anymore, but today I just wanted you to remember who came before the pearls and the flowers, who carried you before you could carry yourself. I won't ask for space at your table. I just wanted you to see me one last time. I love you, always, Mom. The video ended. Silence, even through the live stream. I could feel it. The tension, the confusion, the raw, sudden honesty that had sliced through the curated elegance. Then the camera showed Emily. Her hand was over her mouth. Tears had ruined her mascara. She wasn't smiling anymore. Jacob leaned over, whispering something. She shook her head. Linda, Jacob's mother, looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. Then Emily stood up. She left the table, fast, almost running. The live stream camera didn't follow. But it didn't need to. My phone buzzed 20 minutes later. Emily, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it would feel like this. Please, can we talk? I stared at the screen. So many words came to mind. Anger, forgiveness, love, grief. But I said nothing. Not yet. Instead, I closed the laptop. Picked up the lilac dress, slipped it into a donation bag. Some wounds don't heal in a day. Some bridges take time to rebuild, if they can be rebuilt at all. But one thing was certain. She would never again forget who I was. Not a ghost, not a burden, a mother.